was your earliest childhood memory in sport?
Well, I used to play football for England.
Did you? I never knew that.
Why is that funny? I mean, that's amazing. What is that?
No,
I didn't.
stop.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
So I was like, what? Why have I not known this about you?
You two were both like, really? She knew. She's like, no. So my dad was a semi-pro footballer. He actually was on the books at Burnley at one point.
Really?
Yeah, he's in the academy. And then he used to play semi-professional at Padiham.
Yeah.
And then we just used to go up there every week and play up there. And then, yeah, we got a season ticket, me and my dad, and then it's just been like that ever since.
So you're Burnley born and bred, Burnley FC.
Padiham.
Padiham.
Yeah,
Just down the road.
just get it right. Yeah.
Sorry, but it's just down the road, but it's still turf, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So how long have you been coming to games then?
Well, I remember being on the long side before it was like it is, when it were the long side and there were no seats, and then when you used to score, so I must have been about 15, and when you used to score, you used to just get squashed by all the men behind you, and me and my sister, yeah.
Were there not many girls in the stands?
No.
No.
Really?
Yeah, not a great amount. But me and my sister didn't feel out of place.
What about you?
So, big Burnley fan when I was a kid. So I used to go home and away, literally week in, week out. Pretty much didn't have a choice, 2 older brothers. So it was just expected you become a Burnley fan. I was there, I remember, big memory was going to Plymouth away. So day off school, that was a big thing.
How old were you then?
I was at secondary school then. I've been coming quite a while, so I was in secondary school because I remember it being a big thing. So yeah, loads of memories of Burnley when I was a kid. And I've probably sat in every stand, had a season ticket in every stand, coming with 4 generations of us come on, you know. So.
And did either of you play football or play?
No.
You didn't.
No.
I played on the yard at primary school, but I went to an all-girls secondary school, just stopped playing.
Really?
Yeah. Don't know.
Did they not do it?
That's probably because there were no boys to play football with. Them.
Yeah, so I always played on the yard all through primary school. The minute I got to secondary school, I never played again.
Oh.
But that's why it's so important that we have our, inspiring our girls to play football in high schools.
Right. And how much is that? I mean, that's dramatically changed if you think about it.
Yeah, the Lionesses have had a huge impact.
Right, yeah. Your story is different, isn't it?
Yeah, very different. Like I grew up playing football. I think football was an easy way for me to make friends.
Yeah.
And so I grew up playing in primary school. None of my family are really sporty at all. So I never went to any games or never was taken to watch games. But I just knew that it was an easy way for me to make friends. And so that was my outlet. I'd be on the kitchen corners just playing football for all time.
So you were boys against...
Yeah. I just remember it being like such a freeing experience. Like I didn't have to worry about anything, and I, for some reason, was naturally good at it. And just I remember summers where I'd just like practice kick-ups the whole summer because I wanted to go back to school to be like, I can do the most. Like I'd just be in the garden, just peppering balls the whole time.
Amazing.
Are you competitive then?
Very,
You're just in a place.
Have you met her?
very competitive.
Oh, it's beautiful.
very, very competitive. Very competitive. I think sports just lends its way to just that healthy competition and a good one. Do you know what I mean? I don't like. I'm the worst loser in the world. Like I don't like losing. I hate losing.
Anything.
At anything, particularly football. It just really, and sport in general, just has that impact on your mood, doesn't it? When you win, it's euphoric.
Was it always football and you didn't do any other sports or anything like that?
I ran track and field. I was good at like running, basketball was my main.
Real-wise, that was there.
Yeah. Well, they.
I was a swimmer.
Really?
Yeah, so it wasn't football. But 5 years old, my dad took me to a place called Burnley Park, which was Bolton Wanderers original stadium. And he wanted us all to experience football because he liked football. But he didn't want to give us his input of what team we supported. So he took us to 3 different stadiums. The first one was Burnley Park when I was 5. Yeah, as a little girl, I remember it really clearly, and I remember it scaring the hell out of me.
Why?
I don't know. It just felt really intimidating, being so small. And I remember him picking me up to have a look. And at Burnley Park, there was a supermarket in the stand as well. So I remember afterwards, we went and got a donut and went home. And that was my first memory of the football, of actually going and getting a donut at Burnley Park. And then after that, we went to Man United's ground because he wanted us to see what we thought of Man United. This was me and my brother.
No.
I didn't like that. I just remember that being even worse. It just felt like, oh my God. Because it was just a big intimidate. I didn't like that. Then we went to Man City, Main Road. And I'll never forget that because it was just like everybody was making a fuss off me because I was like the only girl in the stand.
Yeah.
And I just felt really comfy. So there was that. So that was it for me. Then I chose City. And my brother didn't choose any.
So he doesn't like football?
He doesn't like football at all. It's not his bag at all. So, yeah, I've always followed football in whatever shape or form. It's always been in my life. And I'm a massive City fan, sorry.
No, you're allowed.
Have you played football? Did you play any football? I mean,
No, it was swimming. Everything was
Yeah.
swimming for me, sports-wise. Team sports, I was good at hockey.
Yeah.
Because I like coaching people.
I would say it's a bit vicious, isn't it?
Yeah. Fantastic. And I was averagely good at netball as well, but outside of that, I didn't play football because back in them days, I know I sound like I'm being old, but further back, there were no facilities in our school for playing football for girls.
Yeah.
There was nothing football related for girls in any way, shape or form. So it was just watching it. So that's what I did. I just put that as my hobby of watching it. So it was that. But then, you know, time's gone on and that hobby's turned into something far better.
You know, my three sons, we try to get them all into football, and the eldest one is just not interested.
Isn't it funny because my daughter's massively into football. She loves it as well. So if you look at the tables turned slightly there,
Yeah.
isn't it, from
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 nieces, and 4 play football.
there you go.
4 play football, and one of them, Jessica, she refs. She started reffing now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because I was telling her about when we had the first female ref, didn't we? Was it the Fulham?
game.
Yeah.
Fulham game away.
And I said, "Oh, let's just watch this weekend." But yeah, she's a ref.
She enjoy it?
Yeah. And then my littlest niece, Ella, she just asks for a kit at Christmas, and that's what she goes training in every week.
Oh.
So,
What about football heroes then?
I don't have any football heroes.
What about heroes in general?
Or
Who did you look up to when you were younger then?
So I have a very female dominant family, so quite matriarchal. So the biggest influences I ever had were like my nana, who's like an Irish Catholic, you know, like proper matriarch. And then my mum's really, really strong. She still is now. And then I have an auntie Carol, who was really influential in my life growing up. So it's all women. It's all like influential women. I mean, I'm probably most like my dad in personality-wise, but like in probably like resilience, or, you know, when you have to go to the doctors and stuff, you don't really want to go. Like my mum's like that. She's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to doctors, you know.
Yeah.
But resilience and everything else is my mum, my nana, and my auntie Carol is, big ones.
Helen?
Yeah, so I'd say football heroes back in those days were definitely Roger Eli and John Francis. They were my two favourite players. John Francis was in the other day and I was like, oh, John Francis. And then other heroes, very similar to you, it's family, isn't it? Strong, lots of strong female representation in the family, I would say. Really strong females, always never made us think that because we're female, can't achieve anything. So I think that's a really strong footing to have, isn't it? To feel like, you know, you've got someone to look at that you think, actually, yes, I can achieve things. What about yourself?
Not many strong female influences for me. It was I was a big daddy's girl. And unfortunately I lost my dad when I was 10. So I remember a lot of my life changed when I was 10 years old. And it's a bit of a difference because I massively didn't really get on with my mum, which is quite shocking. So I sort of made my own way separately and individually. But yeah, when my dad died when I was 10, that was horrifically different. But that's how I got into photography. So he was an amateur photographer. And when he died, I just picked his camera up. And that was it. From the age of 10, I've never, ever not taken photos.
Wow.
So it was like a connection to him.
Yeah.
It was like I'd buy rolls of film with birthday money or development vouchers with Christmas money, and I never got anything else but anything to do with the camera. And I kept that one. I've still got it. Still got the original camera. It's a Zenith, an old little Russian camera. But over the years, I've managed to sort of like buy little ones and vary from that. So, but yeah, I think heroes-wise from that, after getting obsessed with photography, was Annie Leibovitz.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, I want to be Annie Leibovitz.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. But
What was it about?
she was just so cool, and she was the only female photographer that I could find of any interest at the time. You'd look at stuff. Don't get me wrong, I love Bailey as well. I think David Bailey's amazing, and I wouldn't mind meeting him and photographing him, but no, it was Annie.
Does she do like black and white
Yeah,
photos?
she's done all sorts of stuff. There was a couple of street photographers I used to like as well, but Annie was, because she was quite glamorous and cool as well, and funky. But she was a woman, you know. It was that sort of like led me down that route. But your mum's quite important to you, and she, your mum.
Yeah. My mum's like just a legend. I think similar to what Anne-Marie was saying, just growing up having those strong women around you that empower you to believe that you can.
Yeah.
And I think for me, living in London, born in Nigeria, having that kind of cultural mix, I think my mum instilled a very strong work ethic very early on. And I don't know if it was deliberate though, but like their first gen immigration immigrants, they've moved over trying to set up a new life, and I just observed how hard she worked. And I think for all of you are parents, aren't you? So it's only as a adult child that you look back and realise how much sacrifices your parents make for you at that time. And in that mindset, you're like, oh, I've not got this, or I'm not got the latest trainers, I've not got this. But like, your mum's working all the shifts under the sun to make sure
you're doing what you want to do and enjoying life.
So for me, definitely my mum, I've got sisters as well who I absolutely adore. And I think I've got 3 nieces now, and I'm trying to make sure that I can be a good role model for them, because I understand and appreciate how important it is for them to see women being successful, being thriving. You know what I mean? And
Which sort of takes me to where you are now as an individual.
Yeah.
How difficult has it been for you to get to where you are?
I think...
Because you're smashing it.
Thank you. I hope so. I think it's been an unconventional journey for me personally, but I think I've just been relentless in not hearing the word no. Like I said, I don't like losing, and I don't like the idea of underachieving. So I feel like I've tried to do everything I can in my power to get to where I am, and that's including a career change, that's including taking jobs that I probably shouldn't have taken, that's including working for free, it's including being all over the world to get to a point where I'm like, right, I can be ahead of women's football, which at 9-10 years old wasn't even a job.
No,
it wasn't.
Exactly.
But it was your love of football that's driven you to where you are now.
And people that have been kind enough to give me opportunities. So I think that's
but opportunities are always earned.
Yeah, fair, but they've got to be given. And so I'm always thankful for that opportunities that I get to just contribute. And I love my job. I love the women's team, and I love the opportunity I have to kind of contribute to that. So I feel really lucky. Yeah.
So in your role, Helen, how difficult has it been to get to where you are? Because what you do is quite important. How difficult has it been?
Well, it's been a journey, definitely. So I started at charity just after Anne-Marie, probably about a year after Anne-Marie. So I've been in the charity for 5 years, and I've had 4 different roles during that time. So quite a progression and quite a journey. I've loved every minute of it. It's just, never walk into work thinking, oh, can't be bothered going to work today. It's just such a privilege to have the role I have, because we see the difference we make every day. I think what I found really sort of inspiring is that I never found that I had any barriers within the organisation to think that I couldn't progress and that I couldn't move forward. So there was very much a view that, I think people are very supportive of each other, want to see each other progress. There were lots of opportunities through, chair of trustees, through staff in the club, always to just progress, give opportunities and allow to progress. I know, that's why I feel very lucky.
Wow. What about previous work that you've done before that then? Because obviously you must have experienced some sort of difficulties.
I've actually been really lucky, I'd say, in my career. So I started straight out of uni. I started on a job quite locally and had a really strong female director. So she was a real inspiration. Then moved over into more of like my first career role. And I had a mentor, so a female mentor. And it's something that stuck with me forever because so the first 6 months I had met with her weekly. She was a real mentor to me. And as we finished the 6 months, she was coming towards retirement. And she said, Helen, I want you to finish your career like further on than I finished mine. And I thought that's a real giving thing. And it's something I've always taken with me that I want to progress other people as well. So I've been really lucky.
That is mega impressive because
you don't always get that.
You don't get that.
No.
Full stop, you don't. So you've had a dream of a situation there.
Yeah, so I've been lucky. Then I did take a career break. So when my kids were small, my husband got a job in Malaysia, so lived out there for 3 years. My son was born in Malaysia. So that was fantastic. Then came back, went into education, so taught politics for 3 years, and then started this role. So it's been a bit of a journey.
What about you? Has it been tough for you?
No. Do you know what? This is really, I don't know whether this is embarrassing or not, but I've never been particularly ambitious at all. I remember just leaving school and just wanted to have children. That's really bad, isn't it?
No.
And I just so I just really just had like office type jobs. And then as the kids got older, I got into a firm where, again, really strong female director. Went in there, it was like as a PA to her. And then within probably 6 months, she said, right, you've got a real knack for dealing with people. That's gone. And she said, I think you should do your HR qualification. I need someone to do HR here with like a law firm. So I just did that. I did the qualification alongside, I had the 3 little kids. We didn't have a lot of money. My husband, we only had 1 car, so he used to I used to work during the day, then I used to get the train over to Blackburn and do the course until about 9 o'clock at night, just 1 night a week. And then he used to be sat outside waiting with the kids in the pyjamas ready to take me home.
So that's a different sort of struggle, like, that's an educational thing.
Yeah, it is. So then the kids just got easier and easier. And then this job came up at Burnley FC in the community to be a HR manager. And my husband saw it on Twitter and he said, look, this is where you've always wanted to work, isn't it? At Burnley.
How cool is that?
I know, he's just so lucky.
How encouraging is that from your husband
as
well?
I know, well, he is a love.
That's really
Cut that out, won't you? Don't put that in. Yeah, he is. He's a good guy.
No, but honestly, it's a staple thing to have an encouraging partner, especially when you're going for a role like that.
Yeah.
Because that's a high-profile role.
And I'm going from part-time to full-time.
Yeah.
So, got interview, and then I've been here ever since. So basically what happened was, then I've transferred over to the club. When I transferred over to the club, there were no HR. And it was just wild. But I've not really struggled with
What about working
men.
day to day with men though? You're not had a problem with that either?
No, I think because I've always grown up playing football and my dad's always been into football and I've always been in football clubs around my dad and his friends, and I've got 3 boys and an husband who are quite strong-willed.
Yeah.
I feel like you just have to maybe talk a little bit differently. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
The approach is different.
yeah, and that's it. And I do feel like they do listen to me. They might listen to me to my face, and then when she walks away, just go, "Up, just ignore her, Marie." But I've not really had that much. I've loved it. I've loved it. Even like when I first came, it was COVID time, so I was never down the training ground, so I never really had any sort of relationship with Sean Dash because it were all locked down. But then when he went and Vinny came, I'm just down there every week now. I mean, you see me down there, don't you? Yeah. I've never really seen any, and I feel like there's more women in the club than there's ever been. I feel like, especially on the first team setup, there's more women than there's ever been. Like particularly in academy and your first team football, and it's just been. And I'm not taking credit for this because a lot of this is from ALK coming in as well. They just have so many more benefits for women, and they're more flexible. But yeah, no, I think all the guys in this place have been brilliant.
How about you, Sharon?
Slightly different.
Yeah.
Again, I think this is because I'm older than you all. So I think some of my struggles are different because of the age element and the fact that it has improved so much.
Yeah.
But no, I've had nothing but struggles and situations of trying to get into jobs and it being difficult because I'm a woman. But I don't see myself as just the fact that I'm a woman. I've always gone down the fact and the route of this is my work.
Yeah.
Value me on my work that I've done. But unfortunately, it doesn't work. It didn't work like that.
Yeah.
And it didn't matter if my work was better than somebody else's work. Unfortunately, I wasn't given the opportunities. So yeah, it's not been as easy as you guys. It's been a
But
bit
you've
tougher.
paved the way for us guys, haven't you? Hopefully that bit.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, it was not long ago. So it's 2007 when I became the first ever female Premier League club photographer. Which really, if you think about time frame wise, it's not too long ago. So it's a bit bizarre.
What an achievement.
Yeah.
What an achievement.
Yeah, and I mean, I still dine out on it.
Of course you do.
Because it was based on my skills. It wasn't based on the fact, of anything else other than the fact I was interviewed along with 65 other photographers and I got the job. And that was because I interviewed well, my work was good, and that was it. So, yeah, massive turning point getting that. But before that, there was a lot of, I did so much non-league football. I did all sorts of sports. And there's certain occasions where you go and there's no toilet facilities for women. I used to cover rugby. So the sports stuff that I've done in photography have just been across the board. And even football, Premier League football teams back then, I freelanced for places like Bolton when they were in the Premier League, Blackburn, various other clubs. And it was like, what are you doing pitch side?
Yeah.
So yeah, it has changed dramatically now, but there is still a very small minority of female photographers in comparison to male photographers.
Do you know, I once got asked at an interview, where I went for an interview once when I had little kids, and they said, who's going to look after your kids when you go to work?
Stop it now.
Seriously. I went, my husband. Me. Just like,
So your route was different, wasn't it? But how was yours? Was yours a struggle or not?
Yeah,
To get where you are.
My route was very different. I started off as a lawyer, went to law school.
I started off as a lawyer.
she's a barrister, don't you?
Yeah,
It's like
I
but again, hang on a minute. That's hard work anyway, isn't it?
very hard work.
Because that's a strong male-dominated environment as well.
Yeah, and that's, I think actually when I think back to it, some people will say, would you prefer to get into football first? And I think no. I think the route that I had was, I didn't expect it to prepare me for what I'm now doing.
Yeah.
So you walk into courtrooms and you are the only female, and you're in a very, very male-dominated environment. And so very quickly I learned that I had to operate in a way that was clever, quicker, smarter than everyone else in order to be recognised.
Did you not find, because I found as well that you had to work harder as well
Yeah.
than your counterparts, because it was just the dumb thing, if you weren't better than them
Yeah.
or on a par with them, then you were not getting anywhere.
Definitely an expectation that you weren't going to be good until you were.
Yeah.
And so that was a spur for me to be like, well, I have to be extra good, better than my peers,
Yeah.
head and shoulders above them. So there was no way anyone could say, you're not good enough. And I think that then lent itself nicely into football. I always wanted to get into football. I think, again, with my adult hat on, my parents were very much supportive of me going down the educational route and going to uni and studying and doing that. And I think any parent wants the best for their child. But at the time I was, gung-ho on making it in football, but there wasn't any avenue. You could be a coach and that was it at that time. And so I left, I sacrificed a career in law. I decided to take my badges, volunteered for a year, had to move back in, had to take part-time jobs to support me during coaching. I then travelled the world a lot. Similarly, when I was in Beijing for 3 years, lived in Australia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, just trying to get as much experience as possible because I knew when I got back, I'd have to be better than everyone else.
That's it. Yeah.
And so I knew if I just stayed in London and just worked for Arsenal, it wouldn't be enough. And so I did take that risk, and I could afford to take that risk, which I'm happy for. And then I got back and realised, right, this is my calling, this is what I want to do, and I actually can do it. I think there was a lot of self-doubt around my ability because I hadn't grown up in football or didn't have connections in football. It wasn't something I'd ever done before. I was doing a role that had never been done before. So when ALK came over, there had not been a head of women's football.
No, they don't.
No.
So suddenly I'm in a role where I'm trying to figure out what the role is, what the expectation is and trying to deliver.
Well, it was sat in the community, weren't it?
Yeah.
When you came in.
Yeah, the women's team sat in the community, and then when ALK came over, it got taken over to the club. So there was so much change at the same time, and I thought this is an exciting opportunity to make something from nothing. And in some ways, there weren't any expectations.
And there you are.
And yeah, it's been amazing, and I've thoroughly enjoyed being supported by people who are advocates for the women's game.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have that, I don't think I could be anywhere close to as successful as we have been.
So your nieces, are they into football as well?
No, do you know, it makes me sad. No. I've got one of them that could be. I'm trying to goad her into it, so I got them all Burnley kits for Christmas. I think the middle one, my middle niece, probably will be the most active and play football, but they've not got the football blood.
No.
So,
12, 9 and 5. Yeah, I know.
Starting young.
Seven's the key age, isn't it?
Yeah, so I want to get them in, and you know, when the women's team do come here and play their game at Turf Moor, I'm going to bring my nieces and get them to expect to be there first at the game.
I was going to ask you about that, if I could bring my nieces. Because the thing is, I always try and, it's quite interesting to work in a football club. It's probably not when you work there, but for towards other people it is. Oh, yeah. So like my eldest niece, Pippa, bless her, she's always really interested in everything. So because I want to get her to see what she can achieve. Now Pippa has an incredibly successful mother who, she's like my sister's a managing director, so she doesn't need me as a role model. But I try another strong woman, yeah. Like more of my sisters are strong. But yeah, I just tell her all the little, the fun bits of what, so if it's when Dude Perfect came in, I'm like, Dude Perfect's in, why don't you come and meet them? Yeah. And my other niece, she'll come and sit in, and Jessica, I've got 2 Jessica nieces, unbelievable. They'll come and they'll sit with me, and they'll have a nice comfy seat, and it's just trying to show him that if you work really hard, I wasn't ambitious, but I just was a hard worker, and I was a people pleaser, so I just wanted to do well, that you get nice little treats like that.
And I think what that's great is showing them the potential. Yeah. Which I don't know. I didn't have anyone show me potential.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't at all. No.
It's such a great position that we're in to kind of do that for them.
Helen won't have any trouble with her daughter.
Ambition-driven.
Very driven. Yeah. Very driven. And they're both really into football. I think what's really important is people still don't understand all the jobs that are available in football. And I think, the work we do around our place, and it's the work you guys do around the Hive, it's just crucial because you've got all these kids with loads of potential, and we need to get them into football, don't we? And they're the next generation.
So we've been talking about other stuff as well, but what do you think we need to do now to facilitate better for women coming forward?
So in the club, they've just got to have more opportunities, haven't they? They've just got to have that opportunity. So in the club we have the Hive, which Jess, who works with me, it's her baby. She's done a brilliant job at that, and that is giving underrepresented groups the opportunity to come and be mentored by people. It's not just underrepresented groups. People who want to work in sport, want to work in football, just want to be mentored by good, decent people. And we've now got people working for us who's came through the Hive, called the Hivers. So Ross in the office, he's a Hiver. And Theo's a Hiver. And we've just gone out again for adverts for internships for this summer. So that's open to everybody. And they'll go out to every platform. And then me and Billy, who works with me, were talking about yesterday that we feel like there needs to be, what happens is if you get people to come to be interviewed in even in the first team of the academy, because it's so prescriptive about what qualifications you need, quite often girls haven't been and even thought about doing that qualification. So I think we need to start way down the line backwards. So I was talking to Chris yesterday, Chris Andrews, about possibly doing starting with the young girls, in the ETC, whether we do a mentorship scheme where we just mentor them for 5 years, like a long-term thing. Yeah. And then at the end of it, they can either go on Chris's programs and because they can get the badges through that. We can support them through the badges, and then I think that will then create more opportunities for them to get into the academy.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You could even start it off younger, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could do.
Absolutely.
Going into primary schools and taking in footballers, going to primary school, talking about jobs in football, etc.
Well, Lola, you were in primary schools this week, weren't you? So.
Yeah, just today. This morning we went to three.
It's like I knew.
Three,
No, I didn't.
Did you know?
we were three primary schools this morning in and around Burnley, and I took 3 of the first team players into schools.
Oh, did you?
And just seeing the kids responding to
How old were they?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, that's a bit
Yeah.
sick. See, grab them there.
Yeah.
Just like
But then lead them on, like you just said.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
having a women's team player in their school.
Amazing.
I want my shirt signed. I want my football signed.
Yeah.
We went in and did PE football sessions with them this morning. 3 hours of back to back, and I just think like that representation matters, like being visible. And I guess with your work with the community as well, it's kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you came into some of our primary star schools, and we work in about 40 schools locally, right through from primary, secondary to further education. And I think what's really key is that we are those role models, and we do show that football is not just what you see 90 minutes on a pitch.
Yeah.
There's a full industry behind it that's going through, full year, 7 days a week working. So I think we have, on Primary Stars, we are sparking that initial interest. What is football? Who are these role models? Or I could be that role. I could be that role model in the future. In secondary schools, our Inspires programme works with young people around more the football business side as well.
Yeah.
So actually making them realise that football is about who designs the shirt, who sells the shirt, who works in HR, what other roles are around football, because every role that exists probably exists in a football club, doesn't it, as well?
From medical, creative,
Exactly.
to on the pitch, to management, administration. There's a whole remit there of careers for everybody.
Yeah, so I think that's something we really try to spark in young people, to make them understand that those opportunities are there, and I think to not feel that those opportunities are not for you.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about, what would you tell your 12-year-old self? That's something I would say, don't limit yourself, don't think those opportunities are for someone else. Go for them, why not you?
Yeah, what would you tell your 12-year-old self?
I think I'll tell my 12-year-old self that it's possible. I think for so long I just didn't believe that there would be an opportunity to work in women's sport.
That's a big word, believe, isn't it?
So yeah, I just think having that belief that it's possible, and I think I probably would have ended up in football a lot sooner than I have, if I thought that I could have done it. But I've come through default because I didn't want to have regrets that I never tried. So for me, it would be that belief that you can, and I hope more 12-year-olds around the country and watching this would take that message and be like, yeah, do you know what, I can.
It's a good one. Anne-Marie, what would your 12-year-old say yours?
So I know you won't believe this, but I was really shy. I know. I don't know what's happened. And I would be more like, just be confident in yourself more than anything, because you get really wrapped up in what you look like, what everyone's wearing, and I just be like, be confident, because like even now I still have imposter syndrome. Even now, still. I'll go to the Women in Football event in March and I'll be like, why am I here? I'll be like, why am I here? This is not for me, and I still have that now, and I think that stems from not having the confidence when you're younger.
So you would say to yourself,
be confident. Everyone's not better than you.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
Well, you're proving it.
I think I would probably say to my 12-year-old self, don't take no for an answer. Because I've had no said to me so many times, and doors shut in my face so many times. I think I'd said, just don't give up. I love photography, full stop. To actually then be able to mix photography with the sport that I love as well is like the perfect situation. So I would say, just don't give up. I know it's a bit cliche, but it is. I don't class it as working when you're doing something that you absolutely love, and I'm doing 2 things that I absolutely love, but just don't take no for an answer. Definitely.
And I think with proof, you don't have to take a direct journey anywhere, do you? We've all
No, we've all gone.
Yeah.
And I think those experiences only enhance
Yeah.
what you're able to bring to the table. And that's not knocking anyone who has been able to do it directly.
Yeah.
Just quicker, but I think those, you know, unconventional stops on the way just contribute to the richness of the journey. At least it has for me.
It rounds you as a person as well.
Yeah, 100%.
They're valuable, aren't they? Definitely valuable.
My niece wants to work in Formula One.
Wow.
Another male-dominated industry. Love it.
On that note,
They're keen to
Yeah.
increase their representation of females
Said to her, do
in the
it.
industry as well, yeah.
that's all I say, just do it.
Yeah.
As if it's like that simple. Just do it.
But it
Yeah.
is for them more so than it was for us, I guess, in some ways.
Yeah.
That there actually are like pathways. And
Well, if you we've been talking about how far and how better it's got from me being a kid to you guys. So
yeah,
if it's improved to that level now, it's only going to even get better, isn't it?
yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah. And unless you think you can do it, you're not going to do it. You know.
Big word of the day: belief.